Hello, my name is Diane O'Connor Camp, and I am a patient of Dr. Rosenbaum. I'm here to let you know that I had surgery done on my right foot a week ago, and I was so pleased with the way that I felt, the experience that I had. I haven't had any complications. The surgery went very smooth. I woke up fine and alert, and I was so pleased with that I'm back to have the second foot done today. I wish I hadn't waited so long is the only thing that I can say to you.
We are applying a betadine scrub, which is a surgical preparatory scrub, in order to make sure that the area is totally cleansed and ready for surgery. The foot has already been anesthetized. This is a moderate type of bunion deformity. The procedure that I'm going to do is called a step-down osteotomy, which includes several parts. One, remodeling of the bump that creates the bunion, then surgical breaking of the bone, which creates the osteotomy to move the bone in, and then an osteotomy on the large toe to straighten it out. And an incision is made next to the bump. It is deepened all the way down to bone with another special minimal incision surgical instrument. The capsule which lines the joint is separated from the bone. The advantage of this procedure over the standard traditional surgical procedure, which includes a long incision from down here all the way up here, and then requires all the layers to be opened. This procedure allows the surgeon to go immediately to the bony area without disrupting all the circulatory apparatus, nervous apparatus, and musculature on this side of the foot, which in turn reduces swelling. This part, which remodels the bump, can be done either with power equipment or with manual equipment. In my professional hands, I've been getting better results with the manual because there's less tearing of capsular tissue. You will notice a white pasty material that comes out of the skin. That is the bump that the patients call the bunion. This will go on for a couple of minutes until the bony protrusion is completely eliminated. As you notice, as more filing is performed, the bump gets reduced more and more. This is all what we call bone paste. bump is completely gone. As you can see, by pressing in on the skin, it goes all the way down and it is flat. The reason why we do the osteotomy is simply because, as I will explain later, is because the angle of the first metatarsal is in an outward position, and therefore if you just file down the bump and that bone remains in an outward position, the bunion will reoccur and will be a failure. We have the use of a fluoroscope machine, which will show me whether enough bone has been removed. As you can see on the fluoroscope, the excessive amount of bone that was sticking out over here, the x-ray showed a tremendous amount of bump that has been eliminated. The second part of the procedure, which involves cutting the bone, is marked with an instrument that shows me the exact location of the surgical neck and find the exact area where I need to drill my hole in the bone. There are 3 cuts that are performed in order to get the bone in correct alignment. Through a small incision on the large toe, we will now take out a wedge of bone, just enough so that the toe will move from a position of leaning in to be perfectly straight. I add additional Marcaine, which is a long-standing anesthetic. Boris, one more stitch. The foot is now washed with peroxide. And as you can see, the bunion has been removed. The bones are completely in alignment. We will show that to you in an x-ray that will be taken in 2 minutes. Gentian violet is used to dry up the surgical areas. As you can see, even a week later, it's still on the other foot. A betadine-soaked piece of adaptic is used in order to separate the gauze from the skin, so when the bandages are removed, there's no necessity for tearing the skin. Remove the stitches from the foot that we had performed last week, and I'm repackaging the foot, which includes bulk bandage of cling gauze and tape. The beautiful part about minimal invasive surgery is that no pins or screws are utilized. I've been doing this for over 25 years. The bones will be held together with tape, which I'm putting on the foot right now, and a soft cast. These bandages are changed on a weekly basis. The patient gets a whirlpool in order to reduce the swelling and to clean up the foot. It is again repackaged with the same amount of taping until the bones are healed. And as everybody knows, a fracture takes approximately 6 weeks to heal, whether you put a screw or pin in there or not. It takes 6 weeks for enough new bone cells to be born and to lay down a new network to heal a fracture. That part was our taping. We are now applying applying the soft cast. This will go on the surgical foot as soon as x-rays are taken, and then the patient will be discharged. Soft cast, which is impregnated with zinc oxide, which also aids as a healing. We then use Coflex, which protects the patient from herself, so that if she bumps her foot or something falls on it, she cannot disrupt the healing process. All I have to do is press on the tip of the toe, see the color return instantaneous, so I know that the bandage is not excessively tight. Toes are in alignment, and the final elastoplast covering is placed on the foot. We're going to review in short what happened during the surgery. If this was the left foot, the x-ray that corresponds to the foot that we performed had a bone that was slightly enlarged and sticking out. As a result, the bunion alone, if it was just removed and the bone is out on an angle, the bunion will return. That encourages us to make a cut in the bone to realign the bone so it should look like all other bones with the joints congruous, which means in alignment. If I were to draw a line through the center of this bone, you would see that the knuckle is about 40% or 50% off the joint. That is the reason why the patient is having pain and discomfort. So to review, the first procedure that was performed was through the small incision, whereby I filed down the bump. As you can see, the bump is completely gone. The next part, with the use of the fluoroscope machine, was to mark the surgical neck, where the three-plane cut would then be performed to move the bone in. As you can see, the cut was performed and the bone moves in. The last part of the surgery meant straightening out the large toe, which was bending inwards, to making that straight. In order to do that, we had to take a wedge of bone out of the proximal part or the early part of the large toe. That again was marked with an instrument. I then went in and straightened it out. I will now show you a post-operative x-ray, which will show you that the joint is complete alignment. Okay, this is the surgery that we just performed. As you notice, this was the pre-operative x-ray with the bone sticking out and the large toe turning in. And as you can see, I removed the bump, which is the actual bunion joint, but because the bone is out on an angle, it needs to be realigned. Now notice, every joint here is congruous or straight. That means she can't have pain. Once this is off the joint, you're going to get some form of pain. Now that it's realigned with the large toe, there's a fracture here and a fracture here, but the bone is completely straight. This will fill in and that will fill in, and the patient will wind up with a straight foot. She'll be able to bend the joint pain-free, and that's what we accomplished with this procedure. It will take approximately 6.5 to 7 weeks for this to knit and for it to be completely strong so that she can go on with her normal activities. I don't anticipate any swelling, I don't anticipate any infection or delays, and the patient should have a very good result. I strongly advise anyone with a bunion deformity to seek a qualified surgeon and even a second opinion. The important part is early detection and correction. Thank you.